Hello and welcome back to another RLCS recap video. It was a Championship Sunday and kind of a strange one, I'll admit. I mean, it was a strange LAN. It was a very strange LAN. Right from day one, it was weird, and then it kept weird. And it was the weirdest, best Swiss of all time. Yesterday was probably one of the best days of all time with those twisted and secret games. And today, it's not the way I predicted it. Maybe some people predicted this. It wouldn't have been me. Falcons. MENA champions. MENA, we have a minor region finally winning a LAN event. That's good to see. Them boys were cooking the whole time. I tweeted out they were my favourites yesterday, which is funny because I didn't even predict them to win. I predicted Vitality to win, which was stupid. Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll just start from the start, really, but it was a very interesting day. It started with the DIG secret game, and I had this one completely the other way. I had this as a secret 4-2. I can explain why. I basically thought that Secret were going to keep up that level of aggression, and they did. I do think they had that level of aggression, but one thing I didn't realize is that Secret, when it comes to aggression, is in the mid and the attack. Their defense, the way they defend is they actually just sit back and they let their team do what they want, which against Appjack and Stizzy and Joris is a bit of a stinker, because Appjack just was banging them in from like a million miles out. Stizzy was getting the ball and flip reset passing. Joris was like doing pinches and passes, and it was a bit of a tough strategy. I think they should have probably marked the men more on defense, but I don't know, it's tricky to say. I mean, it's not like I know 4-0 was a bit brutal, but I mean, 2 of those were OT. One of them was a 0-second goal as well before OT. That was the first game. So it's not like it wasn't close, right? It was definitely close. Closer than 4-0 says. Secret could have had it. It came down really, I mean, I would say it's this defensive thing it came down to, but the coach was saying, Bruno was saying that it was mistakes, just a couple mistakes. And I can see that as well. There was a couple mistakes. Also finishing as well, that's a big thing. The reason Secret lost way back in the Swiss, they got blown out way back here by Falcons. Oh, Falcons. And they also lost somewhere else to Carmine. Yeah, when they lost to Carmine and to Falcons, it was because their shots weren't connecting. They were too many shots or they were going for like one player goes, hits backboard, the other player goes fakes, and then the third player, I mean, you're sending too many players at that point to then just place a slow shot on target. Shot selection and actual just finishing in general was poor. I think if they'd just been that tiny bit better, honestly, I think they could have won just off of that. But yeah, it was Dignitas too strong. Today was really well done by them. The Violent Panda might be one of the best coaches. He was locked in today, let me tell you. You could say a bit of a secret choke, perhaps, because I mean, I think the occasion got to them a little bit with the mistakes. But yeah, Dig just let them play into their hands, really, play their own demise. They walked the plank and jumped off themselves, with a little bit of help, obviously, but the Dig threat, Abjack's aura was enough to put Secret off. But 4-0 was a bit brutal. I think it was an enjoyable series, so 4-0 makes it look less enjoyable than it actually was. Then we get down to the series of the day. Holy peak, definition of cinema. I don't think this could have been better. Also, although Secret lost, I think it led to this matchup being a lot cooler. I think if Secret had won this, Vitality would have walked them. But one thing you will realise about Rocket League, I did paper twice. It's a game of rock, paper, scissors. That's what Rocket League is. And I realise that more and more, and I don't do that in my predictions enough. I had Secret winning, but I would have maybe had Dig beating Vitality. That is now 6 games in a row, I think, that Dignitas have beaten Vitality. So, just saying. Down here is another one. This is the same result that happened in Swiss. It was 3-2, so pretty much the same to NRG. It's so close. I mean, I can't pinpoint any reasons why Twisted lost other than just not having the ice. They were phenomenal. Almost completely flawless. Atomic. again, I'm sorry I ever doubted you, man. You're him. Rise, also, to be honest, Rise, Atomic, and Naup are all top 25 players in the world, and that's probably not crazy to say anymore. It would have been crazy to say at the start. They're all so good. Phenomenal. They all played phenomenal. I don't know if Atomic, I hope Atomic can keep that up and play like that at Worlds. We'll have to see. If he can, these boys could make a run. They were pretty unlucky to not win, but also you would have said NRG would have been unlucky not to win. It was so close. It started off not being close though. It was 3-1. I thought it was over. I think everyone thought it was over, but NRG just kept clawing their way back. Little goals. NRG with the lead are pretty unstoppable as well, by the way, and still are. But obviously, if they don't get the lead, then downhill a little bit. We'll get into that in the later match, but I think it was Vitality Dig next. We'll go with that one anyways. Wow, what happened to Vitality is one thing you could say, right? Because they did not play to the same standard that they played against every other team. They have every other team sorted, right? Vitality knew how to play against all sorts of teams. Knew how to play against NRG, beat them twice. They also beat, who else did they beat back here? TSM is not exactly a big win. Furia, right? Beat Furia and beat NRG twice. So maybe the not playing against different opposition, you could say, led them to not being able to play against Dig. But the reality is DIGNITAS are Vitality's bogey team. And I think that actually scared Vitality. They did not play the same. DIGNITAS, again, just like the secret game, they let Vitality make their own mistakes. They let them take the ball and play it and see what happens. And then someone would come in, Stizzy or someone would go in quick, shut them down before anything could really get going. It was tough to watch. Vitality kept making mistakes. DIGNITAS kept scoring on those mistakes. The amount of open nets in just this DIGNITAS secret and this Vitality DIGNITAS game were crazy. For DIGNITAS, they were just getting a load of good chances. Not saying that they weren't obviously scoring bangers, they were scoring some bangers. Also, I gotta get onto that goal later, but in that DIGNITAS Falcons, Joria scored one of the best goals I've seen in ages. That was disgusting to tie the game. I think it was to tie the game they lost, the game 5, but yeah, this one was just really, Zen was shut down completely. Every time Zen picked up the ball, he was instantly marked, or someone was already in the air pre-jumping. It was brutal. He couldn't get anything going, and that's all it took, because Exotic was definitely not to the same standard he usually is. Monkey Moon, again, also I think not to the same standard. I think he dropped off slightly. I don't know why that is. This was the definition of coach preparation leading to a result, right? And obviously the DIGNITAS have had this result many times, but on the opposite end, this was Vitality just slightly down tilting, playing worse. It could be a load of things. It could be just pure aura. Maybe they were scared of DIGNITAS because DIGNITAS had beat them so many times. But this was a great matchup to see. This was really entertaining. And 4-1 was fair. It was kind of a blowout. And DIGNITAS in the final is crazy. If anyone had predicted this before the major, I would have just said it was sheer bias, to be honest. I would have thought they were completely biased. But they did it. They do it. And DIGNITAS is this team that I need to start giving more credit to, because they play such consistent Rocket League. I mean, it doesn't look incredibly flashy. It's not the high-flying offensive Falcons or Twisted or NRG. You know, it's not those teams, or Vitality when they get going. But it's just so consistent and so solid, and they let teams mess up, and it's like, I don't know, they're nasty. It's like a snake. It's like waiting for the prey to get closer, and then they pounce, and they pick their moments beautifully. I need to give them more respect, because they are one of the best teams, easily, probably the second best team in EU. Like I said, it's rock, paper, scissors, and I gotta say, Vitality are paper and DIGNITAS are scissors. They are gonna beat them every time, unless Vitality can figure something out. Moving on down to the other semi, it was 4-2 Falcons NRG. 4-2. It was very close. Could have gone all the way, to be honest. I think Falcons would have won, even if it had gone to Game 7. Falcons just, wow, these guys were cooking today. NRG did not play bad. I mean, NRG had that great game against Twisted. Although Twisted were 3-1 up, NRG came back and they were phenomenal. So good. Looked like the best team in the world, or one of the best teams in the world. Falcons come out, and NRG, it's the case of when Falcons get going and they score early, and NRG don't get the first goal of the game, I just don't think they play as well. When NRG are 1-0 up in a game, they are the best team on the planet. They are. And if they got lucky enough to get the first goal every game, they would probably have won. They probably would have won this whole event, in my opinion. But couldn't get past the Falcons because Falcons' offense was on fire. They just scored so many goals. I don't even know how many goals they scored. It was Clears. I can't remember which one got MVP. Deserved. One of those guys deserved it. They were all disgusting. I couldn't have picked one. To be honest, they were so good. I've got nothing to say between those. Falcons Energy was close. I can't think of a specific reason as to why Falcons beat Energy other than just sheer offensive Falcons and Energy. I think they might need to figure out a game. I know it's a bit cheeky coming from me, but they need to figure out a way of being as good as they are when they're a goal up, when they're a goal down, or it's a draw. They play differently. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just seeing that, but you can let me know in the comments if you think that's wrong. I know Safi said they're not a defensive team, but I do think they are a defensive team, and they are even a defensive team sometimes when they're a goal down, or maybe they throw it too much forwards and that's why they concede. I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you think. Why NRG always win when they are a goal up, or are just better when they're leading? Because I don't know. It's interesting. In the grand final, I do have to admit, I really enjoyed these semis because these are great matchups. It was interesting to see Dignitas go up against a team that they just dominate all the time and dominate. But it didn't change the outcome of this one. Falcons, I thought it might have been broken. The curse, when Dig took that game, I thought, hey, hold on, maybe the curse, because obviously, I don't know if people know, but obviously they got 4-0'd here in the upper quarters, and in the 2-0, no, not in the 2-0, in the 1-0, Falcons absolutely destroyed Dignitas. So Dignitas were 7-0. 0-7 against the Falcons. That is brutal. That is not no small thing. And I knew if these semi-finals went this way and it went to the grand final, I tweeted out, is there any way Dignitas won this? And there wasn't. Not that they played bad. Again, they played just like I think it was Gibbs said, the way Dignitas played in these two series, the Secret and the Vitality, was letting the teams play to them. That just isn't going to work against Falcons. They're too good. Too good. Offense is too high flying. There's always, let's say someone messes up, someone's there to back up straight away. The mistakes aren't that bad. Dignitas did a very good job at pouncing on those, but they haven't figured out Falcons. I knew they wouldn't have figured out Falcons. There's no way they could have when the day before they were getting 4-0'd. So 4-1, it could have been 4-2, maybe it could have been closer. I think it would have been a stretch if this one had gone to 7, to be honest. I don't think there was much chance of that, but it could have been a bit closer. And don't get me wrong, although it was 4-1, it wasn't like it was a 5-goal game. They weren't blowing them out like they were in the 4-0 and the 3-0 series. It wasn't 5-6 goals a game. It was closer, and that is partially my opinion due to the fact this is Falcons at a final. We know what Falcons are like at finals. They stink. They've been to so many finals, and they have won none of the RLCS ones. I think they won one of the World Cups, didn't they? I know they won the actual Saudi when they all played as a team then. That might have been their first final win, actually. They don't win on finals. They don't. But they won. Great to see. So happy to see them boys win because they deserve it. They've been one of the best teams in the world for so long. I remember I watched NRG Falcons in London in 2024, and I wanted Falcons to win so bad, and NRG dominated. And that wasn't because NRG were the better team on the LAN. They were very good. They were very even, but it wasn't close in the final because Falcons in the final choke. And there was a little case of that, a little bit, but not really. Falcons did what needed to be done. The boys get the win. The GOATs, TRK and all them ones. Also, they announced the LCQ stuff. That sounds interesting. I like the sound of that. It's a while away though, so there might not be any videos from me in a while, but I gotta say, what a LAN. Oh my goodness. Even today, look, I'll admit, out of all the days, today was probably the least entertaining to me. Probably because that dig, I really wanted to see Zen ball out, and he was pocketed. And that was kind of that. I know it's a bit biased, but I really wanted to see Zen go to work. I also really would have liked to see Twisted Falcons on LAN. I thought that would have been cool. And a Falcons Vitality final, I think would have been closer. But with the way Vitality were playing today, honestly, probably not. Yeah, but what a LAN. I don't know when my next video will be. Could be ages away. I don't know if I can record gameplay. This laptop is knackered. It's cooked. But you never know. Maybe. I might do top 25 players in the world after this LAN. Might do that, because I've got some things to say about that for sure. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I've got much else to say, but thank you for watching. It's been another RLCS recap video. I've been the Foolish Fella. Leave a comment what you think of this LAN. Do you think it's the best ever? It could have been. It could have been. I think maybe it might not be because of the grand final being kind of a blowout. But let me know what you think in the comments. Like and subscribe. It's been the Foolish Fella. I'll see you later.